So that leads me to the next fight where if you watch The Companion or you watched Schaub Show last week, I said if Sean O'Malley wins, he's going to be the conversation no matter what happens with the other two fights, the main event and co-main event. And I stick by that because Sean O'Malley's definitely the topic of conversation Monday morning on October 24th when the fight was on Saturday. He's the topic of conversation for a variety of reasons. A, the way he won. A, the controversial way he won with the judge's decision, split decision. And then also C, thirdly to that point, is he's also the biggest star on the card, and he did win. So it checks all boxes. Controversy, which the UFC loves in the market, check. The star, the young lion, the colorful lion with pink hair that talks all this stuff and is very, dominant on social media and Twitch, check. And then also the biggest check to me, the biggest takeaway from all this, besides all the garbage going online right now and all the hate that Suga Sean's getting, is he's the real deal. He's the real deal, and he's an elite fighter. So, and I text Sean O'Malley this morning, guys that get a lot of hate, I have my black belt in hate. I have my master's degree dealing with haters. And I told Sean O'Malley this is how I approach it. If what they're hating on right now infuriates them, which Suga Sean gives you a lot of reasons to hate him, right? He'll troll guys. Peter Yan won't touch me. Obviously, that's trolling. He knows he's going to get touched in a 3-round fight with Peter Yan, the number one bantamweight on the world. Of course he's going to get touched. He's doing that to get a rise out of you guys. He's trolling you, right? That's what he does. So he's giving you a lot of reasons to be mad at him. But if you thought you didn't like Suga Sean before, well, now the narrative on him was, oh, he's just getting these, snowball fights and he's not real. The UFC just wants to put him up there. He doesn't really have the skill set. He's not elite. Well, if you're mad at him before, I'm going to give you a lot more reasons to be mad at me now. So for Suga Sean, it's like if you hate him before and your narrative was he's not a real fighter, he hasn't beat anybody, he can't beat anybody in the top 5, he's never going to fight for a title, he's not that good of a striker, he's not elite, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's all gone. That's all gone. There's no way, even if you can't stand Suga Sean, there's no way you can watch that fight and go, he doesn't deserve to be in there with the top 3 guys in the world. Because not only did he show out and put on a great fight, even if he lost that decision, you can't tell me he's not a top 5 talent. Even if the judges sided with the majority of what the fan base and the MMA quote-unquote experts think, which there's really not a lot of experts in this space. Experts is such a loose term when it comes to sports, so new. But people that cover it, most of the people that cover it, where it's MMA Fighting, MMA Junkie, ShareDog, you name it, all those things, ESPN guys, all those major media outlets all scored it for Peter Yan. Let's say that it did go Peter Yan's way. Even if it did, you still can't sit here and tell me that Suga Sean is an elite. He proved all you guys wrong, all the haters wrong, that he is an elite, high-level UFC fighter. Matter of fact, now he's the elite. He's top 3, easily. As far as striking goes, there's a reason Peter Yan was shooting so much. And it ain't because he wanted to, because he's getting pieced up on the feet by a guy who's ranked number 11. You're ranked number 1. Peter Yan's known for his striking, right? His go-to isn't wrestling. His go-to usually is on the feet, his footwork, wearing the guy out, throwing combinations, knocking guys out. Didn't happen with Suga Sean, did it? Suga Sean's elite. So if you guys want something to hate on, man, you can take a big chunk out of it now. He's just getting started. So if you woke up this morning on the wrong side of the bed and you're upset that this guy with pink hair, the rainbow hair, and the tattoos, and he's hanging out with Tekashi 6ix9ine, if you hate him before, he's just getting started. You have a lot of animosity towards that man now, because if you thought he was big before, he just beat the number 1 bantamweight in the world. No matter how you feel about it, he beat him. But let's talk about numbers. Let's just talk about the fight. In our sport, there's always these terms that get popular and become this regurgitating theme because people don't think for themselves. So it's, he's chinny, right? That for a long time, he's chinny. Chinny was a thing. Chin was a thing. I'm not saying my producer Chin. I'm talking about if a guy lost, whether he had 10 knockouts and was on a 10-fight win streak, he gets clipped. Oh, he's chinny. It's this whole chin thing. That kind of went away. People got more educated. It's very rare they use it. Maybe it's a veteran and he is getting knocked out. Like an example of a person where we say their chin's gone would be Bigfoot Silva, right? That guy, I will accept if you say he's chinny. That works in that case. For the rest of the guys, it doesn't really work, and the audience moved on from him and got more educated, so we stopped using that. Well, now the new term is he got robbed. It's a robbery. Whether it's a decision, whatever, split decision, majority decision, oh, he got robbed. I don't think you guys know what the term robbery means if you're going around throwing that term out there, especially in the case of Sugar Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan. Nobody got robbed. Nothing is a robbery here. It was a split decision. A robbery would be a guy who clearly wins 3 or 5 rounds, clearly dominates, and then the judges give it the complete other way. The complete other way, 30-27, 50, 50-45. That's a robbery. It's like, Jesus Christ. Robbery, for example, for you guys that like to use the term, would be, in the sport of boxing, it'd be Canelo versus Triple G, the first one. That was a robbery. Triple G definitely won that, but they had the fixes in for Canelo. All good. He did it. Then he ended up, the second fight, you could also call it robbery. The third one, you can't. Canelo validated himself and beat him there, even though he was a lot older. Either way, that first one would be a robbery. A robbery would be Robbie Lawler Condit for the belt. A robbery would be Machida Shogun Rua. Those are robberies where it's clear as day the other guy dominated. A robbery would be for you guys to use it so you sound educated when you use the term robbery, because you're using it so much it's lost its meaning. Because now every robbery, oh, that's a robbery. No, it's not. You know what the fuck you're talking about. A robbery would be Johnny Hendricks GSP. That's a robbery. This isn't a robbery. Johnny Hendricks, no matter who you talk to, you look at that, he won multiple rounds, the majority of the rounds. You might give GSP 1 there. I could see maybe 2. Sure as hell, and no facet 3. But these judges did. That would be a robbery. This is not a robbery. If you go back and watch the fight, which I have 4 times now before I came in here and made this point, if you go through the rounds 1, 2, and 3, it would be tough if you take it without a biased viewpoint, however you feel about Sugar Sean. If you know a thing or two about the way they score fights, they have a criteria, so it takes out the bias of the fight. So if you went into the fight a huge Peter Yan fan, it doesn't matter. You have to score it on these certain topics. You have to. These certain things, cage control, damage being number 1. Just so let's make it clear before I make this point. For the judges, the number 1 determining factor of a round is damage, right? Remember that before I make this case. The number 1 criteria in order to decide who wins a round is damage, not takedowns, not holding the guy down, not octagon control, not aggressiveness, not submissions thrown, not kicks landed, not punches thrown. The number 1 thing, and you have got to get this in your goddamn minds for say robbery, the number 1 thing is damage. So let's go through the fight. First round is where you're going to have most controversy. First round, even though Peter Yan landed that big takedown, what did he do with that takedown? If you got to put yourself in the mind of a judge at UFC 80 in Abu Dhabi in the arena there, and if you're judging this thing and you're going based off damage, which is number 1 indicator of how we judge a round, number 1, right? You go through that first round, and the reason why the first round is so important, because the second and third are clear as day who won those rounds. Second round is Peter Yan. Third round is Sugar Sean. Easy to score. Those are easy fight score if you sit back and analyze those rounds and go based off the judging criteria, which I did not design. I have nothing to do with it, but that's how they judge the fight. So if you're going to judge the fight based the way the judges do it, which is the only thing that matters, because that's who decides who wins and loses a fight. Based off the damage done of those rounds, 2 and 3, the second would go to Peter Yan, although damage wasn't really inflicted. But although remember, so damage number one, if there's no damage being done, you got to go down the line. So next would be takedowns, control. All right. So if no damage done in the second round, takedowns, control. Second round, Peter Yan landed those takedowns, controlled them for the most part. Not a lot of damage was done, though, down there. So we can't really judge it based off damage. So then we go to control and takedowns with two most significant things in that second round. That's Peter Yan all day. Second round, Peter Yan all day. Third round, if we go to the number one judging criteria, which is damage, it's not even close. If you want to, and it doesn't always tell the narrative of a fight, but if you want to go to the CompuStrike numbers, I think Suga landed like 40 to 15 or some shit like that. Those aren't exact numbers, but it was in that realm. Also, the knee, which split Peter Yan open in the third round, was the most significant damage done in 15 minutes of that fight. You would give Suga Sean that third round. Clear as day. Second round, Peter Yan, clear as day. First round, that's where you have an argument. Now, when I was watching it, and always take with a grain of salt if you're watching the Salt Lake City fight campaign right now after you listen to this rant. If you're watching that and you go, well, you scored it for Peter Yan. I did, but remember, I'm barely paying attention. All I see, I see some shots landed, if it's a big one, and everyone goes, oh, I'll see that. I'm drinking, all right? There's some Tiger Thick flowing through my veins. And third of all, I just see the takedown, the control, and when I'm looking, but then remember, I'm the captain of the ship. I have to manage to make sure the show's entertaining, getting Frank to talk and getting Jesse to talk. I got to manage these different personalities while trying to pay attention to the fight. So never take what I say in the moment of a fight companion to heart. So what I do, so I have a better perspective on it, is I go back and watch those fights that are close so I can really pay attention. I don't listen to the commentating because that can also, and I haven't listened to the commentating on this. I never do, especially before I'm breaking a fight down. I listen to it in silence. When the kids go to, I drop them off at school. I come back. I watch the fight over and over and over. Thank God this one's 15 minutes, so I was allowed to watch it a few times. So when you watch it and you're not swayed by the commentating, because a lot of times when I hear robbery, I go, I bet the commentating was also a little biased towards a certain fighter, because again, a lot of people are sheep. They don't think for themselves. They hear the commentary from these experts, legit experts, and they can skew or sway a fan base. So I don't engage in that. I don't listen to any of that. So if you take out your bias, you take out the commentating, you watch that fight, you watch the first round, punches landed, kicks landed, the body shots. And if you're old school like me, and I always favor wrestling and grappling usually in fights, you're going to give it to Peter Yan. But if you watch it the way they judge a fight, which all that matters, you might say, well, he didn't stop the takedown, he didn't do this, and Peter Yan controlled him for this amount of time. It does not matter. The way they judge the fight is significant strikes landed and damage done. And Suga Sean did that in that first round, and that's why I would give the first round to Suga Sean. Second round, Peter Yan. Third round, Suga Sean all fucking day. If you don't give the third round to Suga Sean, you're just a hater and you're biased, and that's all good. I've been there, but it's not real. You know what's real? The judge's scorecard. And the judge's scorecard had it 29-28 for Suga, 28-29 for Peter Yan, and then the most important one, 29-28 for Suga, which gave Suga the split decision over the number one bantamweight in the world. And not only did it validate how fucking good Suga Sean is, but it gave all you haters out there more to chew on. So if you hated Suga Sean before, I'm telling you, the kid's just getting started. This was his first big test, and he passed it with flying colors. Win, lose, or draw, doesn't matter. Suga Sean is elite, and you guys hate that. And one of the things that makes Suga Sean so polarizing and so massive and popular is because all this talk, all this noise online, which none of it matters, all this talk, all this stuff just feeds in. You're doing promo for Suga. All the hate anybody gets, whether it's a comic, an athlete, a fighter, an actor, you're giving them free promo because most people think for themselves. So you might cut a YouTube video and go, Suga Sean's the worst fighter ever. Someone's going to click on that. Sugar Sean's in your mind. Sugar Sean's out there. You're putting more Sugar Sean content out there. More people are going to regurgitate that. More people need to get that. But most of them form their own opinion, but you're just giving him free promo. You're giving free promo. Makes him bigger. Makes the machine bigger. Makes people want to see him. Win or lose, makes them want to see him. Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view model. We weren't tuning in for the most part to see Floyd Mayweather put in an amazing performance because he fought pretty safe. He was so damn good at it. He's the best of all time. You were tuning in to see him lose. Floyd Mayweather's bank account does not care if your $80 for that pay-per-view came because you hate him or because you love him. The bank accounts don't care. Sugar Sean's bank account and his negotiation with the UFC does not care. Whether it's, hey, these million people tune in because they want to see Sugar lose, cool. These million people tuned in because they want to see Sugar win, cool. It's all the same at the end of the day. So your hate for Sugar Sean is helping him. It's building the machine. It's fueling the rocket ship that is tied to his back now. That not only did he prove every single buddy wrong, but now there's nothing you can do to take this away from him. However you feel about it, on Monday morning, Sugar Sean O'Malley will be ranked probably in the top 2 in the world in the bantamweight division. If he's not in the top 2, that's just bullshit. Because the guy's clearly elite, and you guys didn't think he was, and you were wrong. So if you hate him before, man, he has a lot more work to do. You hate him even more now because he is getting his next title shot. He is going to be the next guy in line to get a title shot. Now for Sugar Sean, when he got on the mic, exhausted, 3 rounds, he goes, I'll have to watch the fight. I'm not even sure I won that fight. I don't know if I deserve a title shot. I'll have to watch it before I talk about it. Trust me, he's going to get back on his social media, which is bigger than the crowd that was tuned in to UFC 280. He's going to get on there. I bet you he'll vindicate himself and say, after watching, I definitely deserve it. Because he probably feels a certain type of way because he's never been in that type of fight before. So he didn't do the usual Sugar thing where I didn't get touched. I told you going to smoke him because he was in an actual dogfight with the number 1 bantamweight in the world and he beat him. No, he didn't. Doesn't matter. The judges gave it to him. Your opinion on this does not matter. My opinion on this does not matter. At the end of the day, and throughout history, when we look back on this fight card, all it says, no matter how you feel about it, how you scored it at home, how you and your drunk buddies scored it, who have never fought before, how all you guys score it, it does not matter. Sugar Sean won this fight. Those are in the record books. That's all that matters. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst Twitter. Talk amongst Reddit. Talk amongst ShareDog. Talk amongst the forums. Talk amongst YouTube comments. All that noise builds these guys that you hate even bigger. Even bigger. You're helping the machine out. You're helping put money in Sugar Sean's pocket. So continue on. Shout out to Sugar Sean. You did it, buddy. You did it. Now, was it a Conor Aldo moment? No. There's not a Conor Aldo moment because he didn't just starch him and walk off after 19 seconds. I think this was more important for Sugar Sean fans because him going 3 hard rounds and being controversial, going back and forth. We see Sugar, he looked tired in that second round, came out the third, won the third, significantly won the third, that huge knee, landing huge punches, wobbling Peter Yan. We've never seen Peter Yan in so much trouble. He was damn near about to get finished, getting rocked so many times, taking Sugar down, which we expected, but then really not doing anything with it. Sugar's takedown defense actually better than we thought. Sugar's defense down there is actually better than we thought. If you're a fan of Sugar, we didn't want the 19-second knockout. We wanted to see if Sugar was a stock. If he was a New York stock, right? If he's on the stock market, here's the thing for all those Sugar fans out there. He validated everybody's kind of questions about Sugar. Is he elite? Can we bet on this guy? Can we bank on this guy when the going gets rough and it's not going his way and he gets taken down? And if he gets rocked on the feet, how's he going to respond? We've never seen it. So it's hard to bet on that guy. Well, guess what? We've seen it. We've seen it. We know when he gets the title shot against Aljamain Sterling, when the going gets rough, Sugar's not going to quit. I'll bet on that guy. He's a fighter's fighter. He's a real fighter. I know he has purple hair, pink hair, what the hell it is today, and rainbow hair, But at the end of the day, you strip all that down. You take the chains off, the tattoos off, the Twitch off, the hanging out, the appearances with Tekashi 6ix9ine and whoever hell else he's hanging out with, and him and his coaches are wild and all that stuff. You strip all that away. At the end of the day, after UFC 280, there's no doubt about it. Sugar Sean is one of the best bantamweights on the planet, hands down. And I can't wait for him to get a title shot. Now, after watching that fight, is Aljamain a tougher fight? Probably. He's going to have his hands full there. But at least I know I can bet on him. I know he's not going to give up. I know when it comes to the feet, he can definitely outstrike Aljamain. When it's on the feet, I'd be willing to bet Sterling's not going to play that game. There's a reason for that, because he's going to watch that Peter Yan tape, go kick and fight. For the first time ever in Sugar's career, even if you hate the guy, you watch the 15 minutes of him fighting Peter Yan, there's not a single person in the world that can't say Sugar Sean's not elite and he can't fight. That narrow's out the window. What else you got? What else you guys going to run on? You got to come up with something. What is it? He didn't beat Peter Yan. That's all noise. Doesn't matter. He did. Straight up. Doesn't matter what you think. He beat him. What else you got? Keep going. You got haters out there. You got to come up with something better for Sugar. What else you got? Come on. You got to come up with something. You guys should all get together. I don't know where you guys meet, whether it's a PF Chang's, a Starbucks. I don't know where the hell all these Sugar's haters meet. You get whoever the ringleader is, and you got to come up with a new narrative. Because the narrative, oh, he's not a real fighter, he's not elite, that doesn't work here. He didn't win, that doesn't work here. I guess the narrative could be, oh, he's going to get beat up by Aljamain Sterling. All right, that's fine. That's a fun one. Do that. Shout out to Sugar Sean. You fucking did it, dude. Good for you.
If you're into thick boys, like, subscribe, comment, and God bless America. Well, that's not my big one. Just kidding.